The movie tells the story of an NSG commando, Amrit, who's out to ask the hand of his long-term sweetheart, Tulika. Now she has just been engaged to another guy against her wishes, just like in any other Bollywood movie. So in order to convince the parents, him and another friend and an NSG colleague, Viresh, both the same train that Tulika travels home to. Now don't ask me how they managed to get tickets in the last minute. Even with early reservations, you don't get to sit in your own seat nowadays with all the day bhaiya Vadakans encroaching reserved compartments. Okay, now hear this out, okay? This is absolutely hilarious and disgusting. Now when you think Amrita would have proposed to Tulika in a field of tulips like in any other Bollywood movie, he actually proposes to her in one of the stinky railway toilets. Ugh. If I were Tulika, I would have ditched him already. Now, cut to that scene. We see a scrawny looking guy called Funny who complains about his nagging father, changes clothes on a motorcycle, boards the train with a bunch of bandits. Now, don't ask me again how they also managed to get tickets at the last minute. Anything can happen in Indian Railways website. IRCTC is just brilliant that way. They could well be your Vadakans. They all take their respective berths as regular passengers and sit quietly. The train starts moving and Funny has a chance encounter with Tulika near the same stinky toilet. Yaar. Come on. What? Wait, what's this thing with stinky toilets and people, kannam Nokia there? Now cut to that scene. We see Funny is actually talking to an RPF constable near the same stinky toilet. All the while he's making small talk to a Railway Protection Force constable. She leaves. Funny shows us his WhatsApp university learnings and goes fut on the skull of the poor constable and he dies instantly. The whole world of medicine is like, what was that? Now, little does Funny know that it's faster and quieter to kill someone by slashing their throat or by puncturing their carotids. But instead, he goes for the more tough nut to crack skull. You see, most neurosurgeons do it day in and day out. It is called craniotomy. They cut open the skull and remove parts of the brain that are cancerous or if there's any blood clot that is there inside. And the patients actually still live. In fact, the skull is so tough to crack, the neurosurgeons use a hand saw to cut through. And also, Funny uses a very inconveniently angled knife that's only good enough to crack a coconut, leave alone the skull. The knife is shaped like this. It's like Nagapamba. You will only dent somebody's head with that kind of a knife. The most damage that Funny could have done is to tickle the cerebellum, and the constable would have ended up saying, "Main kaun hu? Main kaha hu?" Funny and all his friends are still using their WhatsApp university knowledge and rob everyone without covering their face. Post-COVID, any bandit can actually get away with wearing an N95 mask. With all these poor killing skills, the bandits go to rob a train with two well-trained death machines, Amit and Viresh. No, they don't know they are commandos yet. And these two guys are actually back from a mission and are pumping adrenaline in their arteries. Idiot of thieves deserve to die. They are Gen 2 thieves, right? And their fathers are Gen 1. Yes, they are a family of thieves, which you realize much later in the movie because there's a lot of young people and old people in it. The train is looted by the fathers and sons as a team. Well, if the fathers haven't passed on their expertise to the kids on the importance of covering their face and not murdering their victims, they too deserve to die. Now, if you look beyond all the holes, you get a solid story of anger imploding and anger exploding all through the movie because that's where the actual roller coaster of a movie called Kill starts and rocks. Both the NSG commandos summon their valuables like any other commuter. Actually, they don't try any heroics. But when one of the passengers is fatally wounded in a scuffle, the commanders decided to step in. I spoke to my friend who is an ex-NSG commander and goes by the name Colonel VM. If the commanders who were under him were given instructions to step in if they see any incident of that sort. He told me yes and no. You see, the modus operandi of a thief is to thieve and to make their getaway. They are not out to kill anyone, which can mount to a case of culpable homicide and actually get them a death sentence in court. No, they don't want that. They won't enjoy their loot much later. So the commandos are trained to assess the situation and not to do anything stupid that could push events on a downward spiral. They have also been trained and instructed to not use lethal force unless there is a threat to their lives or to the common people around them. He told me a very, very important point, and that is containment. Containment is a first priority. If they are able to control the situation by not using any lethal force, that is what they are trained to do and told to do. But the latter happens in this movie. Viresh, in a swift move to save the passengers, kills one of the chachas. And to quote Amrit in that scene, Are Viresh, you could have restrained him instead of killing him. Viresh, Are bro, then how will the story of the movie go forward? Are how will we get paid? And now the bandits explode and they start killing people. While in the other bogie, Funny finds Tulika and continues to flirt with her. All he wanted was a kiss. But when a woman says no, it's always a no. Now messing with Tulika is just a trigger enough for the imploding Amrit to start exploding and wreak havoc. But that's the kind of exploding that happens in scenarios like road rage, which can have very wild consequences. There is no motivation in the anger in road rage, and it's just pure ego. Or like in the movie Anve Sivam, where Mr. Uz explodes and punches Mr. Sivam in the face and regrets much later that he acted in that way. Sivam endures it, but much later Sivam punches him back, proper timing and purpose. Now that's an example of wise exploding. Likewise, the mindless exploding of Amrit leads to some very undesirable consequences which puts him into extreme grief and guilt. I say guilt because he actually gives Tulika a knife to protect herself, and which was actually a bad idea to be thrusting a weapon into a lady as gentle as Tulika. Now she does not have the training to defend herself. Now on the other side, Funny and friends are seeing the bodies of the kith and kill fall like apples and are imploding with anger and slowly start planning their deadly assault because they realize there are two guys who are completely trained and they could be in the army. Now, this is where the director, who has been imploding watching those hero-centric movies where the hero beats up hundreds of men with no scar to show, and director Nikhil explodes and shows us not once but more than 4 times where the hero Amrit takes a proper beating. He gets pulped and he goes down, and sometimes it takes him time to get up. Intermission breaks, and just when we thought we had seen it all, surprise, director brings back your pyari Bollywood into it. Mummy Papa love, lover lover love, sister sister love, all these sentiments are put forth. And you're like, oh no. And you think this scene is going to cut and the hero is going to be running somewhere in Europe with the heroine and all these white Rasati nightgown angels are around them. But no, that doesn't happen. You have to understand there is a reason behind anger. See, anger is also an emotion, and that can be triggered by many things like sadness, fear, etc. These stimulus are sent to your amygdala that process the release of a hormone called adrenaline, which is a hormone of flight or fight. You either stand and fight or you run away. Ninnu sanda poduva illa odiya poiruva. But Amrit is still dealing with his grief to fight back in vengeance, and he actually wants to quit. Slowly, he uses grief as a trigger to feel anger. The screenplay is so tight. From then on, there are no unnecessary scenes in the movie. And also, Amrit remembers his promise to Tulika to protect Ahna, her loving sister, who's gone missing for a long time. Hell yeah, now he's got motive. He uses his exploding anger as an ally and plans his assault, which him being the captain of an NSG unit has seasoned him. Now years of NSG training has taught him to control and channel his anger to be a productive killing machine. Now he plots his mission first by bringing out the fear inside every bandit and making them blind with anger so they make more mistakes, and he wants to shake their lousy WhatsApp university derived will. You see, the brilliance of the director lies in the fact that he makes you a part of the journey in the train. As an audience, he makes you feel mindless rage, fear, grief, sadness, shock, and then finally, vengeance. He shows us all through the lens of a mostly body cam shot of a cinematographer, Rafi Mohammed. My God, what camera work. What camera work. The whole movie is on a tempo and the camera moves with the tempo. It moves here, there, everywhere. Rafi's camera work and tempo makes you jump out of your seat and throw a punch or two on the guy next to you who is checking his Instagram without watching this brilliant movie. Now you can't throw a punch at this guy, right? But instead you shout and scream and you ask Amrit to, hey, kutra, hey, kut, punch, stab, decapitate, crush. And Amrit willingly obliges and gets brains splattered all over the train floor. The action choreography, which is absolutely brilliant, is by a Korean master called Seong-ho, who worked on another train-based dystopian classic called Snowpiercer. It's a brilliant movie. Parvez Shaikh, he brings out the rawness of a street fight. Together, they bring out the gore of Korean cinema and street fights of India into a high-tempo gore fest. And add to this insane movie the score by Ketan Soda. He gets your already atonized blood to push your hair to stand on its edges. That's the kind of roller coaster ride director Nikhil Nagesh Bhatt takes you on. Completely works. It completely works. And you have to actually watch this in the theater. It's amazing. But this flick is not for everyone. It's not for imploders. You see, imploders implode inside of them and don't want to explode due to various reasons. Fear being one factor. There is an actor in this movie who comes in the second part, a slightly overweight gentleman, and he picks up a weapon and he says, I can also be of some use. But he, at a point when the real rogues come to beat him up, he's completely frozen. He does not know what to do. He's just standing. But the ladies who have grief inside them because these guys have gone and killed their son, explode in anger and beat the daylights out of that guy. That's a brilliant scene. It's a spoiler, but I want you to look forward to it. Imploders will find the gore in this movie completely disgusting. At least 10 imploders left the cinema before intermission. The rest of the audience who stayed back till the end were all exploders, I think. Like me. I'm one of those guys like, "Dey, adagara, paathu pada moodevi. Dey, naye, veetla soltu ontiya." Kind of exploders. We have road rage in them, but I have actually learned to control my road rage nowadays. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. It's a brilliant movie. It ought to be watched on the big screen. Don't wait for it to come on OTT. The kind of impact the music, the choreography gives you, your OTT will not give. I very rarely say you people to go and watch movies in theaters, and this is one movie I really don't want you to miss. Leave beside all the holes in it. That's not important. It's how you enjoy the movie that's what matters. You will thoroughly enjoy it. Alright, if you see this movie in the theaters or on OTT or something, do come back here and do drop in your comments. If you like this kind of videos and this kind of content that I put out, do like, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video. Vanakkamaga, this is Dr. M and you have been tuned in to the vocal experience. Samuga Valaitara Channel.